As you write your life story, you're far from finished. Are you looking to close the book on your job? Maybe turn a page in your career? Be continued at the Georgetown University School of Continuing Studies. Our professional master's degrees and certificates are designed to meet you where you are and take you where you want to go. At Georgetown SCS, the learning never stops, and neither do you. Write your next chapter. Be continued at scs.georgetown.edu/podcast.
Today, the beverage aisle looks a lot different than it used to. America's beverage companies are working together. We're delivering the options everyone wants. In fact, nearly 60% of beverages Americans buy have zero sugar. You'll find more variety than ever, including more of your favorites, now available with zero sugar. You'll also find more sizes and clear calorie information on the front of every can, bottle, and pack. We know when it comes to finding balance, the more choices, the better.
This is Fixing Famous People, the podcast where two reality television producers pitch solutions to save celebrities in dire straits.
But first, let's get to the Prefix, your weekly pop culture roundup.
I thought for sure that you were going to greet the listeners this week by singing Vanish Into You.
I was about to, and then I said, let me not. So should I? Okay.
In reverse. Come on, it's
Dominic,
Wednesday.
Don't make me sing. Vanish into you. So good.
Wow, your version sounds even more like Bad Romance.
I know. I kind of am slipping a little bit into it, I think, but
hello, listeners. Thank you.
Do you like that
behalf
better?
of our planet, thank you for backing very far away from the microphone. Well, you know, last week after we recorded the Prefix, one story dropped that some people were asking me why we didn't mention, and it just happened after we left. But Rosie O'Donnell announced that she and her partner and one of her children have packed up shop and they've moved to Ireland because they don't want to live in the United States either anymore or just for the next few years, reasons that we don't discuss on this podcast and are her own. But I love Rosie O'Donnell. Sometimes I question her choices, but I'm a lifelong fan of hers.
She might need to go on the list.
You think we need to fix her?
I think she needs to go on the list.
Interesting.
She was like, the Rosie O'Donnell show was formative for me. You know, not Oprah level.
A 60-year-old could watch that and be formed. It was great. Yeah, it was great.
Not Oprah level, but like not that far behind, you know?
No, it was a groundbreaking, like so much fucking fun. I wish I was a kid coming home from school watching that. Yeah. Like that. What fun that would have been. What a great show.
Dominic, I think she needs to go on the list.
Let's put her on there.
She's
not beyond. I'm an absolute lifelong fan, but she's not beyond reproach. I mean, we could tweak her a little bit. You know, why not? We've tweaked many people out of love here on the show.
One of my biggest grievances is going to be that she puts that same smiley weird picture on every single one of her Instagram posts.
I don't think I know what you're talking about.
Her Instagram is tough. Okay.
All right. Let's save it.
We'll get there. We'll save it, but we will get there. She's
coming this spring. This, of course, follows closely on the heels of Ellen DeGeneres moving to England after the election last year.
Moving into a swamp. Never forget.
Basically. Ellen and Rosie, by the way, which we'll discuss when we talk about Rosie, not friends. Rosie revealed on Watch What Happens Live this year, they're not.
Yeah.
They once were, Rosie thought, but then she found out that they were not.
Ellen's mean, so.
Well, you know. I mean, this just begs the question, which lesbian is jumping ship next from the United States?
Truly, the lesbians are leaving in droves.
Will Sarah Paulson and Holland Taylor move to Glasgow? Is that Melissa Etheridge over to Wales? What'll it be? The one thing I know for sure is that if one more lesbian moves to the British Isles, they're going to have to rename it the Clitish Isles.
That's so stupid.
Thank you. I'm here every Wednesday at dawn, right in this spot. Wednesday at dawn. Also, my drag name in the same school as Heidi in Closet. I'm Wednesday at dawn. And I'll answer to Wednesday or dawn. On the street. Try it. Snow White, which we have not really discussed here in a long time.
It hasn't been like kicked up until this week, and now I can't escape it. And I'm like, I'm already over it. And it hasn't even, there's barely a trailer.
we talked about it like a year ago in a prefix where
Sure.
they were
like, who's gonna be in it.
Well, right. They were using like real little people, and there was a backlash. And also Snow White wasn't white, not my words. And so there was backlash about that. And then Gal Gadot is Israeli, and Rachel Zegler, who's playing Snow White, they lie on opposite sides, Twitter-wise, in what's happening in Israel and Gaza. And then they replaced the dwarves with 7 different animals, so you wouldn't offend anybody. And now there's just CGI dwarves. And it's just, there's been a black cloud hanging over all this, to the point where even last week, Peter Dinklage was in an interview saying, is no one listening to me? Is my entire life in vain? And I'm like, first of all, don't upset Peter Dinklage. Number one, don't upset Peter Dinklage.
Is this what movies are now?
I don't know.
It's hard for me to say the word no.
It's
Do you know what I mean? But do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. I mean, we straddle this line personally and professionally all the time. It's like, you want to make sure everyone's being represented properly, but is there a moment where it just goes, you don't want to say, I will say too far for lack of being for lack of intelligence, I'll say, does it go too far? I don't know. I don't have the answers. I don't. But it looked a mess. Hollywood Reporter basically releases an article last week that's just like, holy crap, this is a mess. And then it premieres this past weekend. And
was it out? I didn't
not
even know.
A mess.
I thought
No, just the premiere. It's not in theaters, but it's not a mess. Like, the first reactions to it are, wow,
is really good.
The buildup about this being bad was unwarranted. It's not a perfect movie, but as far as live action stuff goes, they were comparing it to the Little Mermaid live action. Like, it's as good as that.
Please, and Little Mermaid. It will be hard for them to top Little Mermaid live action. I thought it was incredible.
Yeah. I still didn't see it. I still didn't watch the Little Mermaid live action.
She's a star. She's beautiful. Her version of Part of This World, dare I say, better than the original.
Ooh.
Like, she did the damn thing. But this is the thing. Take away all of the trappings of anything. When you're just casting, they casted her after West Side Story.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of looks like Snow White.
Facially, she definitely does.
Right?
Yeah.
Halle Bailey was like perfectly cast for Ariel because she can actually sing the songs, which are very hard to sing.
Sure.
Which is a huge part of this. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And was like, oh, she like is really cute. She looks like she's like at the right level of fame where she's famous. We know who she is, but she's not a household name. And this will make her a household name. Rachel Zegler, to me, is like in that exact same boat. Good singer, can do it. Like, is good enough of an actor. We know who she is, but she's not an A-list celebrity. She did have to beg to go to the Oscars the year the West Side Story was in the Never Forget. You know what I mean? When they were like, she was like, I wasn't invited. And even though the movie I'm in was up for Best Picture and I'm the lead female role in it.
I don't even remember that, actually.
They like invited her like 10 days before the ceremony. Because she was like, did my invitation get lost in the mail? And the Academy was like, yes.
Where did they seat her? In the parking lot?
I don't remember.
Like,
probably. I don't even remember. But I say all this to say, like, the casting of it, like, star power wise, to me is perfect. So I get that, like, racist people are like, Snow White should be white. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that started a long time. Yeah, that's been dogging it from the beginning.
Sure.
But I mean, you saw the trailer. I looked at the trailer and I thought, wow, this looks like beige and brown and gray. Like it just didn't look appealing to me at all.
Other than The Little Mermaid, I've watched a lot of the live actions. None of them are that good, in my opinion. Like,
but
Mulan,
people are saying it's good.
Mulan, OG Mulan, there's not a better movie, period. Eddie Murphy as the dragon, like, knocking him dead every single minute of the movie. Live action Mulan, boring.
Didn't see the live action one.
Will Smith as the genie in Aladdin.
Let's talk.
You know what
about
I'm saying?
Else.
Like,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Now I want to change the subject.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Yeah.
How dare you invoke him here, King Richard? How dare you? But by all accounts, the main thing that people are saying who were at the premiere, and these are actual critics, by the way, not just fans.
Some random bot on the internet. Yeah.
No. They're like, they're storied critics, all names who escape me at the moment, but that Rachel Zegler's a star and that she's
very
great.
talented.
And that Gal Gadot is great as well. Didn't hear much in the one-line reviews about the dwarves or whatever were
sure
the other characters, shall we
dwarves,
say? But
the 7
yeah,
dwarves.
they said they're good.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that dwarfs was a word. I always thought it was dwarves, but apparently it's dwarfs. I'm
Dominic,
uncomfortable with how many
what
times
is this
I'm saying the
podcast?
word.
What is this podcast?
It's that. It's a linguistics podcast.
Well, that Gal Gadot doesn't really get that much. She doesn't really like. I've yet to see if she's a real actor or not. She doesn't really get much play. You know,
Should we fix her? No, should
yeah,
we fix her post
I
Wonder
don't
Woman?
know. I don't know. Like I loved Wonder Woman, but like other than that, like she doesn't really do much.
Let's put her on the list. I already have ideas for her that I'm not going to spill here because I think
Sure.
I already have 11 fixes for her.
Okay.
Moving on, Don Lemon appears on Bill Maher's podcast.
Oh, brother.
And
oh, brother.
well, they have several arguments. Among them, Don thinks that they were having a fight about whether or not everyone who wears a MAGA hat is racist. We are not going to litigate that here at all. But they just, why, Don, are you getting into that discussion at all? Obviously. But then they get into a discussion where Don reveals that he was subjected to sexual harassment in the workplace on multiple occasions throughout his career. And I have to just read this first one to you. Sexual assault is not funny. It does not matter your gender. This is not funny. So stop preparing to laugh at what I'm about to say.
I can't. I'm already laughing. You're goading me in every single way to get us
Not
canceled.
just you. I'm talking to everyone listening. Don't roll your eyes. I know sexual assault isn't funny. How dare you?
I'm so nervous for what you're about to read. I truly am. I've never been this nervous on this podcast once.
Okay. I'm quoting from, I am reading from the Hollywood Reporter Instaham page. The first incident Don detailed took place in Atlanta at CNN's cafeteria. That detail already has me suppressing giggles, like that anything untoward would happen at the CNN cafeteria.
Like as if like in the Devil Wears Prada, whenever they're like going through the line and he's like telling her that she's like a fat bitch. You know, remember
this is that.
This is that. That's what's happening, by the way. Yeah, sure.
At CNN's cafeteria, where a young lady, I can't even say it.
I don't even want you to do this. I'm nervous. I don't want you to do this.
The first instance he detailed took place in Atlanta at CNN's cafeteria, where a young lady tweaked the journalist's nipples and said, "Oh, it's cold in here."
Oh my God.
God forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This is the end of the podcast. No one is going to listen.
Oh my God.
Okay. Now I need you to imagine.
Hang on. Wait.
Okay.
Wait. Oh my God. I think you're about to say what Don Lemon said right after that. Oh, it's cold in here. Lemon explained that he told the woman, okay, you realize if I did that, they'd be walking me out the door right now. Was that what you were about to say?
No, but I must be on his side here.
I completely. Lemon said he didn't care
if
to go.
one of
He
your
didn't go to HR.
coworkers. Can you imagine if I did that to you at the duplex, let alone if someone did that to a coworker and you watched them do that? I would be screaming bloody murder. I don't even know what I would do. Like a titty twister.
A titty twister. A purple nurple, as it were. This is the thing. I would say
cold. It's not funny.
Oh my God. I mean, for days, I've just been thinking like, who was it? How long ago was this? Was she young at the time? Was it Candy Crowley? That's my only question. Was it Candy Crowley?
Can you imagine me saying that to you in a bar where we're drinking and I'm your friend and we're not coworkers? Can you imagine if I did that to you, let alone if two people that are coworkers, that happened? Oh my God.
I'm hoping that it wasn't a young lady and that he's actually just protecting Larry King. I think Larry King is the one that did it. I was like, hey, Don, it's cold in here.
Hong Kong. How dare you? We are going to hell.
Okay, and just for the record, Fixing Famous People does not find sexual assault funny. However, if I'm sorry. It's cold in here. There's gonna be an "It's cold in here" candle at Christmas time from Fixing Famous People.
Jesus
I'm sorry,
Christ,
and we're gonna have Don Lemon's nipple.
Keep going.
In the O of cold.
I know this is the first of many for you to do this. I'm so nervous.
That's it. No, that's it. That's it. The second time isn't detailed. Or actually, it is detailed, but it's so serious we can't even tell a joke about it. It had to do with childhood, but that's horrible. That instance there, the "it's cold in here." I might be putting it on a shirt. I feel I'm a terrible person. I apologize. I apologize, Don Lemon. I still maintain that it's Larry King. Moving on, Drake's next chapter. Okay, so last year, basically this week, two things happened with Drake. The first is that he started posting all this shit online about the next chapter is coming. And it's all very cryptic, the posts that he's posting. I also didn't know that his Instagram handle was Champagne Poppy, and I'm sick to death about it. I am so much angrier about him calling himself Champagne Poppy than I am about Don Lemon getting breastually assaulted, that I need to have my head examined about this. So he writes on Instagram, "You know how I grew up non-confrontational and always..." I won't because it's a grandstanding website, which I fully participate in. They should rename it Instagram.
Dear God.
All any of us are doing on that website is going, "Look at me." That's the whole thing. And I'm in it. I wake up and go to sleep.
I'm doing it. Yeah, I'm there. Yeah.
24/7. You have no idea. My phone literally the other day was like, "Your amount of screen time today, ... should put you in jail." That's what it said.
Yeah.
I go to sleep with the phone playing videos now. And so there was a moment last week when I had 19 hours of screen time.
Yeah. Dominic, I'm watching people get chiropractic exams to go to sleep. And I'm like, I wish I was getting my back cracked.
That's a good one.
It's
I
great.
love those back
I have a whole
cracks.
Dominic, I have a whole library of videos to send you. Don't you worry.
So Champagne Poppy says, "You know, I grew up non-confrontational and always treated this game as a sport where my pen won gold. But these days, the podium has been hard for us all to ignore. I understand this next chapter may leave you feeling uneasy, but I hope you see my honesty as clarity, not charity, that answers some questions, especially about the unanswered texts you've been sending me." So obviously it makes no sense. Obviously it's ominous. Obviously Champagne Poppy probably had some champagne before he wrote that. But what's more obvious to me now, don't say anything. Just pull a Beyonce, drop it in the middle of the night without telling anybody, and we'll even consider it more artsy than we would have to begin with because you pulled one over on us.
Yeah.
But also, I'm now pretty sure that Drake is the one that tweaked Don Lemon's nipples and said, "Oh, it's cold in here." That's what the next chapter is. That makes me, it fits the suit. It'll make me uneasy. I won't understand it. Why is he called Champagne? I don't know anything.
That was before Instagram was your PR machine, and it was just everyone had an Instagram. You couldn't even be verified yet. He's had that Instagram since that's been his name on Instagram for the entirety.
I truly am just elderly. I had absolutely no idea. I haven't been paying attention to it. Don't forget, also, did we mention this last week? But was it this week that Universal Music Group released a statement that said Drake can't sue us just because he lost a rap battle regarding Kendrick? Slammiest fucking slam of the week.
When your own label has to say that too. Well, no, but he did sue them. No, they needed to put him in his place. They needed to be the only reason that you exist is because of us.
But still your own label. You know what I mean?
They pay you money. They pay you money, and they had to say that.
It's like a bully beats up your kid and your mom says, "My kid deserved it," basically. Kick the shit out of him.
Horrible.
Kick the shit out of Champagne Poppy.
This is why he's I'm at the podium or whatever the fuck he's saying. He has to repeat, clap back because his own label is shut your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Aubrey. Yeah.
Aubrey O'Gay. Thank you for that reminder. Speaking of reminders, today is March 19th. If you're listening to this podcast the day that it drops, which means that the Natalia Grace scripted series drops on Hulu. So while you're all listening to this prefix, I've probably risen at dawn to watch this down.
We're on another level. We're in the stratosphere. I haven't said that in a long time. We are so in the stratosphere with this. It's not even funny.
I have never watched an episode of Grey's Anatomy, so I am hoping that Ellen Pompeo wows me today.
And
Wows
P.S.,
me.
for the people that DM me and say, stop talking about Natalia Grace, I have this to say to you. No. And that's it. I'll say whatever the fuck I want on this podcast. Anyway. And she is a star, by the way. She is a famous person. She might need to go on the list, Dominic. We're doing a live dev meeting.
Natalia Grace? Wow.
I think she does.
Wow. Wowie, wee wow. All right. Since we know some people don't like Natalia Grace, let's talk about something I feel like everyone is watching, which is White Lotus, which this past weekend's episode 5, for all of you, for the millions of you, and you know who you are, and you've been complaining online. Why is White Lotus so slow? When is something going to happen? I don't like this. And those of us diehards were like, Mike White is an artist. Let him do what he does. Let's do a slow build. This was the week that shit shut everyone up and also made them noisier because of all the shit that happened on the episode. This television show, we consume so much content, as we said in the group chat today. We consume so much content that when something sits us down and we're like, holy shit, that was amazing, it means that it really, truly was amazing because all we do is watch shit 24/7.
Yeah.
This episode, there is a scene, spoiler alerts, if you're not caught up with White Lotus, just leave for 2 minutes or fast forward. That scene with Walt Goggins and Sam Rockwell in that lounge in Bangkok, the greatest, I think the greatest scene of television since Breaking Bad went off the air. I'm not even exaggerating.
His reactions were me. I was him. When he was like, and then this happened. And Walton Goggins literally does the side eye emoji. And I was also doing the side eye emoji. Like, and it was like, and then he was like, and then I did this because I'm like doing it. I'm being vague on purpose to not spoil, but he's like, and then blank, 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 blank. And I was like, And then I was like, what? And then I was like all the range of emotions that Walton was doing was what I was doing on the couch. And then I was like, why is this happening? Why am I here? But then also like, I'm here. And so I'm in the middle of this. And it was,
I stood up. Halfway through it, I stood up. I couldn't believe it. It is,
oh my God.
So beautifully, that show's always beautifully shot, but that scene in particular, the way they were shooting that lounge and both actors, it was impeccably acted and perfectly written. Like my jaw was on the floor. To let you know, like there was a same-sex sibling kiss at the end of the episode, which is somehow the second most shocking thing that happened in the episode.
Sure. There was incest on camera. Yeah.
Incest is officially not even the most troubling part of White Lotus. And it is so good. I'm loving, like, it's still such a slow burn. Like I don't even think we know what's going to happen yet on that show.
And I was like, when will sex tourism rear its ugly head here? And like, it sure did.
Hi, he gave you 10 episodes of sex tourism in an 8-minute scene. Like that was unbelievable. And as we had all hoped,
I'm attracted to him. He is so.
Who, Sam Rockwell?
Yeah.
Of course. You're supposed to be. You couldn't be. I think straight men should be attracted to Sam Rockwell, which goes along with his storyline. If you're watching it, he's taking applications. So
yeah.
And how thrilling is it that Parker Posey is getting the Jennifer Coolidge? You are now officially we've transferred you from cult star to superstar.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike
White.
But
we knew second one that was what it was.
Utterly adjust. I'm out of lorazepam, so I'm going to have to drink myself to sleep. Oh, that's another candle and t-shirt.
Oh my God.
I'm just brilliant.
What did she say? Wait, there was one other really good line that she had when the daughter's like, I'm going to be here. P.S. The daughter
you can't be Buddhist. You're not Chinese.
Yeah. Incredible.
And then let's not forget, what do you mean you can't move to Taiwan? And they're in Thailand. I can't.
Incredible.
She's God, I can't say enough about it. And I love when you find a show that's just like, just almost perfect from tip to tail.
Finally they gave Natasha Roth. I'm finally laughing. P.S. This was my grievance was like, where's the comedy? Like it was there a little bit, but I'm like, I need to be like last year when we had our girls, you know what I mean? Our two little hoes that were like coming into the thing and we're like, who can I who, like, what money can I drain from a bank account today? I was like, we were laughing it up with them. We were laughing it up with Jennifer Coolidge. Now I'm finally like, haha, laughing, and I'm in.
Mm-hmm. And we'll talk. We can't even get into Michelle Monaghan, Leslie. We'll talk about them on the a la carte. But that 3-person friendship is every 3-person friendship that has ever existed. One person leaves the room and the other 2 talk shit.
Yeah.
My 2 best. That's it. That's literally it.
Me, you, and Rebecca.
All right, let's move on. The Menendezes are not giving up. They have a parole hearing in June. They don't care what the DA says. Gavin Newsom is moving forward with an investigation. So we are going to be talking about them through at least the summer. Good for you. Good for you, boys. Keep up the work. And also, it's not like you have anything else to do, but still keep up
really.
your,
They're like, what are we going to do? Like, just go away to do what? Look at the wall? Like, they're like, we'll just keep appealing this until they tell us to stop. Yeah.
Did you see this cringy red carpet interview at the Planet Hollywood opening with Ilaria and Alec?
No, but I know people that were there, and I was like, they did not come up one time in the conversations I had with people that were there.
Interesting.
But tell me.
This extended interview, it's either ET or Extra. I can't remember, but we'll pull it from the group chat. It's in there somewhere. He looked like a doddering old man. Like, he keeps talking and she's like, I'm talking right now. Stop interrupting me. She's being like, she came across like an evil caregiver.
Well, she's like, I'm a star now because of our television show. So, like, we are 2 equal peers right here, me and you. And so, like, it's my turn to speak. Like,
well, all I'm telling you is that in what is not unprecedented, they released like the 8-minute raw version of it. It's almost like someone did this on purpose because she doesn't look. She looked very unappealing. Not what she's trying to do.
And P.S. editing, when people blame it on the edit, guess what editing does? Save people a lot.
100% of the time.
You know, when people want to come for you, it's like, oh, would you like me to release the raw footage where you're a fucking bitch the whole time? Here you go.
Right. I have not watched The Baldwin Show since episode 1, by the way. Neither hide nor hair of it.
Have no desire to go back?
I really just don't. I really don't. Okay, so there seems to be some sort of Traitors ripoff coming to Hulu. It's a new reality competition show hosted by the delectable Simu Liu. It's called Got to Get Out.
Yeah, it's like Leave Please or something. I was like, what is this title?
Something like that. But it
was like, you should go.
There's the door, bitch.
Yeah, like, please leave now. Yeah, like.
But it is like Traitors. It's a ton of reality stars in a competition show, and it pretty star-studded. Val from Dancing with the Stars.
Sure.
Oma Rosa, heard of her? Kim Zolciak Bierman,
your friend,
my colleague and friend,
and friend,
and everyone's friend and enemy, Spencer Pratt, is also on this show, given his newfound fame.
And let's not forget our girl, or at least my girl, Susan from The Golden Bachelor.
Yes!
Susan, President, baby! She's back, deservedly so. Love her.
Now, let's hope she doesn't get, like, derinded off on the first episode. I
know, I don't want her to. She did No, she's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. She's going to be making everyone laugh. She's going to be like, don't I look like Kris Jenner? And they're going to be like, yeah, huh? Like, she's going to be making meatballs for everyone. They all loved her.
Kim's going to hate her. Kim's going to hate her. And 100%. Vice versa.
Yeah, because Kim's going to be like, oh, they like her, so I need to hate her.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Kelly Clarkson was missing for a minute, but now she's back. And by missing, we just meant she didn't host her talk show for a week or so. Had people filling in, among them, Simu Liu, who we just can't escape, nor do we want to.
I'm nervous, though, that like he's like in a Marvel movie. Like he's supposed to like be in the Marvel universe, and now he's like hosting a show.
Well,
like Joe Manganiello hosting Deal or No Deal Island to me is like a great move for him. But like Simu Liu is like not to me in that realm. But maybe he is.
Then you'll be really disappointed this fall with Nicole Kidman's Name That Tune. So
that's Jane Krakowski and our boy, what's his name? Randy Jackson. Okay.
Yes.
So don't do that.
Your boy. Yes.
My boy. I love him.
We reported here last week that Harry Styles would be going to the Sphere for a residency. Nope. Harry Styles said, nope, never happened. Not true. Wasn't discussed. Goodbye.
Are people just making up things? Like, this is the thing. And I actually am going to dovetail this into something else. Are people just like, they can just throw whatever they want on the internet and like a legitimate source will pick it up and say that it's news? That's what's happening right now.
Correct. And idiots like me will then put it on their podcasts because that's what I do. I mean, was I supposed to call Harry Styles people? Absolutely not.
No, not at all. But like an example of this is Lady Gaga does the Vanity Fair like lie detector test thing that they do. Right. Which I find that the woman that does the questions, terrible at asking questions, by the way.
Okay.
The questions are always bad. Anyway, they slip her something. They slip her a picture and it's like, will this be happening again? And it's her and Beyonce in the pussy wagon from Kill Bill in the telephone music video. And we've been saying for like 10 years, please, can we have it said to be continued at the end of the music video and then it never continued. Mm-hmm. So we're like, we need more of it. And she's like, I would like for that to continue. All over the internet, it's like Lady Gaga confirms telephone part 2. Right. Like, and I'm like, she said, like, I would
not
like
so.
that is not a confirmation. So. Then they're like, will this person be a part of it? And it's a picture of Beyonce. And she goes, I'm paraphrasing, but like, is also like, that would be really great if this person was also in it. Saying, I would love to work with Beyonce again. All over the internet. Lady Gaga confirms Beyonce is in telephone part 2, blah, blah, blah. Watching it. I watched the Vanity Fair thing. Absolutely not what she says at all.
Not so.
Then she does the Spotify like press conference that she did for the album, which I think is a very smart move that they should do more of, by the way. Thought it was great. They're like, will there be a telephone part 2? She's like, yes, there will be. And everyone's freaking. So she confirms it. She says, there will be a telephone part 2. Everyone's freaking out. Or like, the story will continue at least. Then they're like, will Beyonce be there? And she's like, you all should call Beyonce and tell her that she should be in it. Which that is her saying like, we need to beg Beyonce to be in something with me again.
Yeah, it means like, Beyonce has already given like the verbal okay, but it's just matching up everyone's schedules. And like a nightmare.
She's like, hasn't said yeah. She hasn't said yes. She's like, hasn't said no. And then all over the internet, it's like, Beyonce confirmed to be in this thing. And I'm like, that is just simply not what she said.
Mm-hmm.
I blame this on everyone wanting to be like, I'm Entertainment Tonight part 2. And I need to like, have the hot story, which is just like simply not what I watched her say when I watched this.
And if you're going to do that, do what Fixing Famous People does and make sure you brand yourself as something that is not fact-based.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Nothing we say is official here. Everything we say is just like a Van Gogh, basically. It's not. It just sort of looks like a starry night, but it's not. A starry night doesn't actually look like that. Or you'd be staring at the sky the whole time.
Oh, God.
Speaking of stars, I would have waited a week. I've got nothing. Why did I even say
Don Lemon really took it out of us. I'm sorry. I'm like, I have no...
It is cold in here.
We have so much more to record, and I'm like spent from that.
Wendy, just very briefly, Wendy Williams just making the rounds this week. She phoned into The View and said, I have a message for my guardian. Get off my neck.
Free Wendy.
Free Wendy Williams.
Free Wendy
Williams.
Add her to that 12 noon Eastern time. I need everyone prayers up for Wendy.
This is serious. Chris is serious, by the way.
I mean, so serious.
I think you need to shoot yourself doing the prayer so people will believe.
I need to shoot myself. Yes. I need to shoot myself. Oh, that's a really good idea of me at noon. Me seeing my phone and being like, Father, Son, House of Gucci, like prayers up for Wendy. Okay. All right.
Donatella Versace is stepping down as the head of Versace. She's been there since her brother was murdered, which is somehow almost 30 years ago. She'll still have a role at the company, but a legend, obviously. And I
also like,
unfortunately,
what took her so long?
I can't think of her without thinking of Maya Rudolph impersonating her on SNL.
1,000,000%.
Get out! Like, that's the only thing I hear when I see Donatella Versace. I don't even know what her actual voice sounds like.
There's a woman that's on QVC that looks exactly like Maya
Really?
Rudolph.
Has long blonde hair too?
No, like Maya Rudolph, not Donatella Versace.
Oh.
And when I tell you that, like, it was on the TV somewhere, and I was like, this is SNL, right? And they were like, no. And I was like, that's Maya Rudolph. Like, I know she's not on QVC or HSN, one of them. And
that
they
is
were
hilarious.
And I was like, this is a parody. Like, no, looks exactly like her. I need to find the woman's name.
Moving along, because we have to record some other things, Conan O'Brien and Nikki Glaser, it was announced this week, will both be returning to their hosting duties at the Oscars and Golden Globes in 2026. Good for you. You both kicked ass.
Yeah.
I love that.
I feel good. I feel great about it. She's a star now. She's on it.
Oh, yeah.
She's in another tier now forever because of that.
She's unstoppable at this point. Selena's killer, I'm not going to say her name because fuck that bitch.
Yeah, fuck her.
Is still trying to get out. She's still trying to get paroled. And she's got another story to tell that she's telling the parole board about Selena being so aggressive during their last meeting that was the reason. Honey.
First of all, there's people that are like, when she gets out of prison, I will murder her.
You're dead.
Like, that's
You're
real.
Dead.
Like, not us saying that as a joke. Like, people actually will kill her.
She's been in protective custody for 30 years. She is not allowed to mix with the general population because there are people there who want to kill her. Why are you bothering Yolanda? There, I said it.
Yeah.
I said her stupid name.
Fuck her. Yeah.
Fuck you, Yolanda. Bitty bitty bomb bitch. Fuck you. Sorry.
Oh, God.
All right. Something a little less incendiary. I apologize. Something a little less incendiary. The show 911 on Fox. Okay.
Okay.
The Angela Bassett starring
vehicle for
that
Angela
I've never
Bassett.
watched, even though I'm a huge Angela Bassett fan, but 911, which has been on longer than you think. Like it's been on for like 8 or 9 years. Anyway, there's now a 911 Nashville coming. It will star the adorable Chris O'Donnell, who I believe already starred in one of the other lettered shows, the STD Los Angeles. No, NCIS Los Angeles. He starred with...
Oh, yeah. No, he was in NCIS.
With LL Cool J, who can
yes.
give me any STD from now until we're both in a box. Thank you.
Can get. Ladies do love Cool James. I'll tell you that much.
As do faggots.
As do I. Yes.
911 Nashville, which now this 911 show on Fox, first of all, there are so many crime shows on television now. Like it seems to be like the only thing that's working, which is fine. Look, I'm a lifelong Law and Order and SVU person, but like I'm starting to think that there's probably less crime in the United States than we think because there's so much of it on television. I think we think the world's more dangerous than it might be in our own country. But this 911 show, this is the one where like cruise ships sail into Los Angeles and meteorites like explode. It's almost like a fantasy show. Like the things that these 911 people have to deal with just don't happen on our planet
at all.
What's like Nashville's landlocked? What's gonna happen? Like Dolly Parton's wig's gonna fall off and cause a sinkhole? Like what are we doing?
Like
here?
You know
why
how
Nashville?
You know how they have like the cowboy boot like neon signs that like kick up and down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that one of those is gonna break off and like roll down the street and like kill all these people. Like
it'll run. It'll somehow gain artificial intelligence and run through Nashville.
A tumbleweed will just like gather a bunch of other tumbleweeds and like run through the street.
Tumbleweed.
I don't know. A boot barn will catch on fire and they'll have to save someone.
I took it personally. I want better for Nashville than them putting.
Agree.
I went there for the first time this year and loved it. And I'm like, don't do this to Nashville. Don't destroy it every week on television.
They're going to be like, Taylor Swift is here and like it caused a mayhem.
And she got crushed by those neon boots. They killed her. Where they need to put a 911, they need to set one in the Bronx, where I live in Marble Hill. This is how I'm going to format the show. We open each show with someone calling 911, and then we see how long in the Bronx it actually takes the 911 people. Maybe they arrive before the end of the hour. And during the whole hour, it's just a devastatingly handsome middle-aged gay man in a tank top, leaning out his window, screaming at the neighborhood, "Please be quiet. I'm recording a podcast about Meghan, the Duchess of Smuckers. Please be quiet."
I have to leave.
Thank you for coming to our development meeting. Speaking of Smuckers, we actually do have to leave. On the a la carte today, we're going to be talking about Smuckers' new podcast. We're going to be talking about allegations that Smucker's is a fraud because she made St. Patrick's Day pancakes.
Oh, brother.
Supposedly for her children, or waffles rather. And the waffles that were served did not have the same ridge pattern as the waffle maker she was using. So now they're saying everything about her is a lie. And
people need to get help. People need help.
I can't believe if you're not following us on Patreon or Apple subscriptions yet on the a la carte, I will say this story will be there today. Goop herself has finally weighed in on accusations that Meghan Markle is copying her. Come over to the a la carte and hear what you had to say.
I don't know who I'm going to attack first. I don't know who. and P.S. very quickly, if you still are a fan of Kim Kardashian after what she fucking did this week, take a very long look in the mirror and you ask yourself why. That's all I'm going to say. People should be burning their Skims like they're sending their Teslas back is all I have to say. And then for her to say, oh, I misread the room. Go fuck yourself, Kim Kardashian. And that's all.
Did we already mention why you're saying that? Like,
No, I didn't. She took a picture with on a Cybertruck and was like with a Tesla robot because she probably got paid like $1 bajillion to do so. And she's a money grubbing piece of trash. And I hope that her empire collapses in on her. That's all.
And we will be back to fix Reneé Rapp after these vital messages.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Experience the action from a luxury suite at Capital One Arena. Watch Ovechkin chase history as the Capitals hit the ice or catch the Wizards take on the NBA's best. Rock out with Disturbed, vibe with Mary J. Blige, or dance the night away with Kylie Minogue. Premium seating, VIP service, and unforgettable moments all under one roof. Book your suite now at CapitalOneArena.com/premier. Capital One Arena. Watch in style, live in the moment.
Well, you know them and you love them from their podcast, I Am the Cute One. It's Chelsea and Donny. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for coming.
Before we do anything, tell us a little bit about I Am the Cute One.
Sure. So it started as an Olsen twin podcast, hence the name, I Am the Cute One. And then once we ran through the mystery series and the sleepover series, we said, what else is there? So instead, we just decided to go into movies of our youth from the 90s and 2000s where we cover, and I use that term very loosely, because mostly we just talk about ourselves, but we cover movies from the past.
And you guys like Bravo a lot. I feel like I listened to many a Bravo episode of yours.
That's how we met. We were both in the Bravo sphere, and then shout out to any Bravo listeners that are listening, but we did get scared off because the fandom is crazy. And we said, you know what? Why don't we just cover problematic movies from our past instead?
Yeah, we refrain from speaking too much about Bravos for that exact reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we get it. Don't worry. And they still find
Did
us.
anyone go to your house?
Close. The closest you can get to without someone showing up.
Yeah, there was a burner account that was created. In
We're
my
no.
Yeah. It got kind of weird there for a second. So now we just talk about movies and give our bad opinions there.
Yeah,
also, speaking of Bravo, I am a little Countess Luann adjacent.
You are giving Countess Luann,
in my
please.
voice. I did have what the kids call the flu, but I am on the mend. So for any new listeners, this isn't usually what I sound like, but I couldn't say no to coming on this show. So I'm
from personal experience, you don't sound anything like Countess.
Yeah, your pitch is actually good. You're not flat at all. All right, so let's move on.
Dominic, how dare you?
How dare I? How dare she? Cabaret artist Luann Louise Delisette. Enough.
Do I know her middle name? Now that I'm thinking.
No, I'm saying that her real name is Louise. It's not Luann.
No, but I'm thinking about it because I know a lot of their middle names. Anyway, we're moving on.
Well, Donny and Chelsea, at this point in our broadcast, we play the middle name game where we ask Christopher and our guests to guess the middle name of the person that we are fixing. Before we proceed, do either of you already know Reneé Rapp's middle name?
I do not.
I do not.
So here are some clues, some contextual clues. for you to base your guesses on. Reneé and Rapp do appear to be her biological first and last name. She was born, I'm going to take my own life. She was born in January of 2000, which makes her 25 years old.
Okay.
Wow, a Capricorn.
Sorry, trigger warning. I'm never going to do any of those things, and nor should you.
One of the youngest people for us to ever fix, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
If not the youngest.
You got to start them young, Chris.
She was born in Huntersville, North Carolina.
Okay.
January 10th, 2000, which makes her what? Is that a Sag? Is that what's before Aquarius?
Capricorn, I think.
Capricorn?
I think she's a Capricorn, yeah.
Got it. Her and Jesus. They're both Capricorns.
Shout out to the big guy.
Right? And that's all the information you get. Reneé Rapp. What is Reneé Rapp's middle name?
I feel like the alliteration, her parents definitely had a vision, Reneé Rapp. The Southern element, I want to throw in like a Jane or a Gray or a Sue. You know, like they love a double name.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a vowel. I think it's going to start with a vowel.
P.S. Already loving beautiful guesswork on that.
Thank you.
May I just say,
middle name sleuthery.
I just say, like, that was artistry by both of you already. Like, we're gonna get along just fine. Just from what
wait till we talk
witnessed.
about actual facts and figures because I'm much better at guessing than knowing things. You know.
Okay. I'm gonna go, and again, this is 100% wrong, but I'm going like you said, alliteration. I'm going Rachel.
Ooh, okay.
RRR.
Okay,
which was a movie that was nominated for an Oscar, by the way.
I'm gonna go Abigail.
Oh, wow. I'm going to go with a single. I'm going to go Reneé Beth Rapp.
Okay.
So Beth, Abigail, and what was yours, Chris?
Rachel.
Okay. It's none of those three.
Okay.
But, and this does happen frequently.
Fuck.
One of you, as you were throwing around names, did get the right one, but didn't pick it as its the final answer. So for that, you will get a half point, which means you get half of the prize, which is nothing. So you might as well have
Wonderful.
1 billion points.
Love that.
Jane. So Chelsea guessed Jane right off the bat.
Wow.
See, I didn't pick that one because that's an insane choice from her parents. Reneé Jane. That does not flow off the tongue.
Chelsea, when I tell you that the number of times I've been like, okay, it's not blank 100% the name. Like
at least 10 times Chris has done that.
Yes.
At least 10 times. I will say this. She did do a name change because she was born Reneé Jane Rapp, but is now known as Reneé Mary Jane Rapp. So maybe that's a confirmation name or whatever it was, or she's just trying to be cute, or it's her favorite fucking shoe, a Mary Jane. Who knows? But we would have taken Mary Jane,
her favorite
MJ,
drug.
anything.
Yeah. Right.
Inspired by Spider-Man, perhaps.
Also yours, Dominic. Yeah. She loved Spider-Man.
More of a lifestyle than a drug in Apartment 5F, but sure.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Okay, where do we begin with Esther Perel? I know where I know her from, but I feel that you two might know her from something before. Like, I feel that she came into the zeitgeist in Sex Lives of College Girls, ?
For you, perhaps, Chris.
But I feel that I'm wrong about this. So.
For me.
Oh, wait,
So
before wait.
Profiled from James Bond. For you, perhaps, Chris. Can I ask a question before you continue, Chris? How did you guys, I'm always curious how you guys, did Chris give you a list of celebrities and you chose Reneé Rapp, or did you call Chris and say, we have to fix Reneé Rapp, it's an emergency?
Well, funny you should ask. Chris did give us a list, and we picked Jessica Biel, and then Chris said, well, you can't. She's spoken for.
The way that I was prepared to do a Seventh Heaven deep dive, but instead, I guess now is a good opportunity. I was very heartened to hear that you famously on this podcast, you're not big on facts. We don't need to come with facts.
No.
Oh, no.
We can just
None.
spread misinformation.
We live Google a lot of things.
Well, that's better than what we do, because what we do is just spout nonsense week after week and wait for our listeners to say, that was wrong. Stop saying that. You've said it 6 weeks in a row.
Our hope is that we get something so egregiously wrong that goes public that whatever the lawsuit is actually gives us another 10 6,000 listeners.
We are
that's the goal.
begging for a podcast feud. Maybe we can end this recording with a fist fight because
yeah, sure. Oh, we're down. We're so down. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
I can see the headline now. But my experience with Reneé Rapp is there's a funny thing that happens with Donny and I where our interests aren't a Venn diagram so much as just two circles sitting next to each other with no overlap. And so there are people and places and things that just enter my orbit because of Donny. Wicked being one of them. Like all of a sudden I knew about the Wicked press tour just from Donny's headlines in air quotes every week for our pop culture segment. Reneé Rapp was one of those people. I did realize as I was preparing for this podcast, I was listening to your old episodes. I was trying to, figure what am I going to bring to the table? I did realize I have not yet seen Mean Girls musical. I have never listened to any of her songs. I do only know her through the context that is Donny. So that's what I'm bringing to the table here
Copy
today.
that.
Okay. Everything I know about Reneé Rapp, I know when I Googled her 2 minutes before you all came into the room.
Wonderful.
That's pretty much it. I knew by name only. I knew that she was in Mean Girls. I knew she played Regina. But that was truly the only thing I knew about her. I did not, and I'm always upfront when I don't know who people are. I've never seen The Sex Lives of College Girls. I've been encouraged to watch it. I have not. My extent with Reneé Rapp is the clips I have seen of her doing Mean Girls on Broadway.
Okay.
And I will use my expertise with that limited information to change her life. Or not.
Donny.
So I am obviously the Reneé Rapp historian of the group then today because
great.
I did come into Renee's presence when she was in Mean Girls on Broadway. Now, I will have to say, I'm not here to rewrite history. I hated her in Mean Girls on Broadway. So much so, hated her because everyone else in the cast was like a fully adult woman. And then Reneé Rapp, I think at the time, was like 19 or 20.
Truly 19 years old. Yeah.
So
not a fully adult woman.
Yeah.
She did not fit in. There was something lesbianism. I just couldn't tell what it was at the time. But there was something butch about her. I was like, my Regina's no butch. But now that I'm in it, now that I know, now that she's open with it and I'm open with it and the world is whole, now my Regina is not straight at all, actually. My Regina needs to have butchness in her. So much so that after I did see the Mean Girls musical movie, I thought perhaps Donald Hadfield, was bisexual because I wanted Reneé Rapp to peg me.
It was an exciting time on I Am the Cute One when he logged on and he said...
Reneé or Regina?
I think they're very similar, Dominic.
Okay.
I think they're,
It's funny that you bring up lesbianism because the first 10 seconds after Chris told me we were doing Reneé Rapp, in my head, I swear to God, this is true. I was thinking about Megan Rapinoe. The entire, I swear
classic mix
to God. And then I Googled, because this was a couple of weeks ago, and then I Googled, I was like, oh no, it's the girl from Mean Girls. It's not the soccer player. I was like, why? I guess just the one syllable made me think of that. But as I was scrolling through images, I'm like, I think they may be of the same persuasion.
All lesbians are the same to you, aren't they, Dominic? They're all just women coming up to Xena Warrior Princess asking the tell a 10-minute story, aren't they?
Just wait till that clip gets released. No lesbian will ever speak to me again.
No, and they should not. Dominic went to a house party,
a lesbian
full of
Halloween party dressed as Xena Warrior Princess.
And they swarmed him like
I was sexually assaulted. That's all. That's the only way.
Well, may I say, Dominic, I'm sorry to say it, but you were asking for it. Look at what you were wearing.
I was. They were all consensual attacks.
Okay, so we meet her. Do we truly meet her as a society as in Mean Girls on Broadway? Is that her biggest first thing?
Chronologically, yes, because that's Mean Girls, the Broadway musical, launched in 2019. Sex Lives of College Girls launched 2 years later. I've known the woman for 10 minutes and I know the highlights of her entire career.
Okay.
All this means is that I can read.
Chronologically, yes. I think she became a household name during Sex Lives of College Girls.
Sure. Which was as far as I know, I have not seen it at all, but everyone that I know that has watched it has loved it and been like, you will love this show. So like, I've got nothing but rave reviews of the show.
That's a show that I'm saving for a really bad hangover day.
Sure.
Because I've only heard great things, but I just need that like day to carve out rotting on my couch and just absorbing an entire season or two.
And then she has music outside of of this, right?
Yes.
And not just the Mean Girls soundtrack. Like she has her own songs, right?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What's
and
that all about? Because I haven't heard it and I feel like it's not good.
Well, the thing is, that's like what she wants to be doing, like in all of her interviews. So I like to think of myself as like not so much the Greek chorus, but like maybe the idiot brigade, where like I am
who amongst
I am absorbing pop culture the way that like a random person is absorbing. So when she came on the scene for me, it was number one again because Donny wouldn't shut the fuck up about her, but also because she was doing her tour of like Watch What Happens Live, and she was going on talk shows and like kind of being chaotic in a way that like caught my eye, and I was like, oh, like you're on my radar all of a sudden. Like, be mean to millennials some more. I'm kind of into it. But her music in all of these interviews, she's talking about how like acting was just a way to get to her music. And her music is like, it's good. She has a great voice, obviously, but I was listening to it today in preparation. And it is just like kind of like any pop adjacent indie girl out there right now.
I bring up the music because I feel that like she was supposed to be one of, and Donny, don't literally jump through the computer and kill me, but like she was supposed to be on this wave of like Chapel, Sabrina, like not so much Billy because Billy was there before, but like Charlie finally getting her due. Like she was supposed to be kind of in that realm of them.
And she kind of gives Billy energy. A little bit.
She was kind of like prepping to be like in that wave, and it missed her. Like she's not at all in that conversation, like at all. And like they are flying because she walked. Do you know what I mean?
It's a shame because, well, it's obviously she didn't hit bigger with her music because last year JoJo Siwa invented gay pop, and that was what Reneé Rapp.
Last year JoJo Siwa threw out her back repeatedly. With that dance,
never plays the number of minutes that I've wasted my life on this podcast talking about her.
And Sabrina is like in that moment now, but this is her like 5th album. Sabrina's. They've been trying to like recreate her image, and right now they have like sexy brat style, and this is the image that works
this time.
So I don't know if that's what Reneé needs or what, because Sabrina was in Mean Girls the musical on Broadway with Reneé Rapp at the same time.
See, that's crazy. And then you think that they were like friends or
Sabrina played Lindsay Lohan. Katie.
Get out of here. I didn't know that.
So Reneé, I remember really hearing and like people being like, fix her when she's doing the press tour for Mean Girls, the musical movie.
Right.
Yes.
And she's like, people that aren't over like 25 or old. Well, I don't remember what she said, but like basically like people are old people. I don't even know who they are or something. She tried to do something really cute, not to invoke your podcast, but she really tried to be cute and be like anyone over the age of 30, like who are they should be dead kind of a thing. And it really backfired on her. Are we in agreement here?
It did in the public, but here's Donny and I's toxicity.
You loved it?
That's when she was on my radar. When she was talking shit about everybody, that's when I was like,
same.
Give me more of this girl.
Yeah. It was almost like a very irreverent on purpose. Like I saw right through it though. That's my thing that I was like, it was very obvious that she was doing this for publicity and to like be funny. And I felt that it's like, okay, and like, next thing is what now? I don't know.
Yeah. I took it as, because I have read an interview before where she said like when she was in Mean Girls on Broadway, she was very unsure of herself and like tried to be who the actress before her was and stepped into the role and wasn't really herself and got a lot of hate for it. And like hate, she was getting hate and she already wasn't happy because she wasn't turning in the performance she wanted. So now I think that she was cast in the movie and she's like, I'm going to be whatever kind of bitch I want. In the publicity tour, if I want to make Regina a lesbian, I'll do that too. I'm just going to truly be myself. And I think that is why the press tour was so unhinged, because she was just throwing any kind of bitch thing she wanted to say out there. which that then in turn made me hop right on that cart.
Sure.
Peg me, Reneé.
I loved her. Yeah. Meanwhile, you were like, let's have sex with each other. Yeah.
Call me an old bitch, please.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that she was the whole conversation came up when she was on Watch What Happens Live, and they were talking about Potomac, and apparently they started talking about Karen Huger, and she said, "Oh, she's so funny," which is a surprise because I'm very ageist. And so Andy said, what do you mean? You don't like older people? You look down on them or you don't care for them? And I guess she doubled down on her comments and made some remark about the driving. I don't know if it was old people driving or Karen specifically.
Flash forward, perhaps she knew something that we didn't with Karen Huger's driving.
This was more than a year ago, so I don't think we saw Karen in the back of that car.
Wow.
No.
Karen's been driven around by Blue Eyes for quite some time. So.
Yes, she sure has. My boyfriend, who literally doesn't even know them apart from each other, is like Blue Eyes, like all the time about like he was like, she is was Blue Eyes in the car. I was like, how do you even know who that is? I didn't remember that it was on Watch What Happens Live. That's really, and that's okay. So that's the problem here with me is that it's like on a network that's about women that are 55 plus. Like you're gonna say that? Like, no, thank you. That's a misstep to me.
Okay. A lot of people did comment that she was if you know her, she was very clearly joking and that's her humor, but it just didn't come across very well.
Yeah.
And I almost, again, I'm toxic and I know that we're here today to fix people. And if I were doing the pitch at the end, I might say, keep saying more of that stuff. Go on, a couple more podcasts and say some crazy stuff, get your name in the headlines, etc. But I would so much rather that unhinged, maybe it doesn't land, but you're like shooting from the hip type of thing, than these like overly curated like PR princesses that come out now where it's just like, give me nothing, blah.
Yeah. Right. I loved her in the movie. Mm-hmm. I thought she did incredible. I thought she encapsulated like a Gen Z mean girl.
Brilliant.
Like she wasn't the prettiest. She wasn't the like Rachel McAdams is like the DNA of like what a millennial mean girl is. Skinny, mean as fuck, rich. You know what I mean? Like all this stuff. The one in the musical, I remember her, isn't she like not that wealthy or anything? She's just like the cool girl.
Yeah.
I thought she did incredible. And so once it like nothing else came for her, I was like, oh, this is like kind of sad because I was like, did the press tour of this really fumble it that badly for her? Because I thought she did such a good job. And I, as someone who like, Mean Girls is the like movie that defined my generation. Yeah. I was like going into the movie being like, this is going to be fucking terrible and we're going to hate it. And we walked away and was like, that was for a nearly impossible task, a really good movie. I thought. I don't know what you guys thought.
No, I loved it. I saw it 3 times in theaters. But
my God, with Peg in hand, ready to go.
That last time he was walking in with some paraphernalia.
My God.
I thought the movie was great. I think her biggest issue is that she as well thought Mean Girls was going to be her big turn. So then when it wasn't, she wasn't about a slow burn anymore. And she was ready to do her music. She was ready to go on to the next project. And that's when she left Sex Lives of College Girls. In season 3, she's only in the first 2 episodes. And like,
she's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, she like renegotiated her contract.
Like that.
No, she higgled them, but at least.
This is the problem. This is the problem right here.
Higgled them.
We found it. She's too big for her britches.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That is my only problem. How she acts on the press tour, I wouldn't fix that at all if I was her publicist. This is the problem here for me.
Well, I think her focus on music and not on like just.
Yeah, but then why is she not on tour right now, Chelsea?
She like burned out too quickly. Like she was like real, like for real, so many. And Hassan listened to some of her music. Like she had a song in the Mean Girls thing, the one like, it's not my fault. I remember. Yes. And it was good.
She collabed with Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
She was the musical guest on SNL. Like it's so strange to see all of these puzzle pieces that like in theory should work. And yet she kind of like rose and then fell off.
Yeah.
But again, because she was like, oh, I'm too good for television now. Like, and again, I'm paraphrasing, but like, oh, I'm too good for television now because I was like on SNL as the musical guest. Like, I don't need any of this. And it's like, no, you actually really do need it.
I don't even remember that. Well, I mean, it had to be recent, right? That she was.
It was probably 2 years
it,
ago.
Was this season or 2 years ago?
It was probably in conjunction with the movie coming out, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so it was 2 years ago, probably. That, not good.
Not
quote,
good at all.
And I think too, like her image with the music, like if you watch that SNL performance, it's very much like she didn't find her niche. Like she was very much she is channeling Billie Eilish a little bit. It is very much still that same like pop, new Gen Z pop girl. Like there wasn't anything that I saw that was like, oh, that's special or like that's different than what I'm seeing from other people.
Yeah. Whereas like whenever everyone puts like Charlie, Chappell, and Sabrina together, they make them like the Powerpuff Girls. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Look at these 3 different people that are all the same. You know what I mean? She really doesn't have like a lane, right? And Chappell Roan took the lesbian lane, so she has to really do something different with that. You know, not that there can't be more than one, but she has to make it very different. Not that it's hard to make it different from Chappell Roan.
Maybe she should play soccer and then her and Megan Rapinoe can.
That would be great. No, they could just call themselves the Rapps. That's it.
The Rapps.
But is she gay? I'm trying to look for some sort of online confirmation. All I find out is her with boyfriends and stuff.
No, she is. So she had a boyfriend when she was in Mean Girls on Broadway. He cheated on her. Her whole album's about that. And then she came out as queer.
And she was in a relationship with TikTok personality Alyssa Carrington from January to October of 2023.
Okay. Interesting.
And now, I guess last year, about a year ago, she and English musician Toa Bird made their public debut as a couple on the red carpet at the Vanity Fair Oscar party.
Okay, here's another way we got to fix it. Why are we dabbling with people less than you? Much like how I book guests for the podcast, if you have less followers than me, you're not getting on my podcast. If you have less followers than me, you're not getting in my vagina. That needs to be her rule.
No one's begging you. Is no one following the Anne Heche handbook here? Not a single person?
May her soul rest.
She needs to be shooting up. You're right. I'm not shooting up. We have to fix
Donny's fix is get her on the heroin and call it a day.
Right. That's the fix is send her to Melissa Etheridge's Bel Air estate. That's the fix.
I mean, not for nothing.
Knocking on the door in the middle of the night.
I'm going to her Instagram. She has 2.9 million followers.
Okay, so then who is up, I guess?
No, I only mean this to be like, she does have she's not like nobody.
Right.
But like, she really missed that boat. It's really sad.
She's going to have to fuck Katy Perry. There's no one left with more followers. We're running out of options.
You know, like, she's on the cover of the Hollywood Reporter last year. You know what I mean? Like, this is not like a nobody, you know? So that's what sucks is that like, I couldn't tell you other than that song from the Mean Girls movie. I could not tell you one of her songs.
Do you think that's because she pissed off the people of Boston? Do you think that that's the final thing?
She?
Because she went on like some late night show. It's one of the songs about her ex that cheated on her is called I Hate Boston. It turns out he's from a different town and she just thought Boston sounded catchier. So of all the cities in America, she's like, you know who I could casually say fuck you to?
Yeah, the most like vindictive, the meanest.
But then I guess
city
on a
like,
late night show or something, somebody said, I think it was like Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, one of the Jimmys, somebody said like, do you have anything you want to say to Boston? And she was like, no. Oh, because she had a billboard in Boston that said, I hate Boston. And they said, do you have anything to say to the people of Boston? And she basically was like, yeah, you're like old and drunk. Why do you care? And like Boston went off.
Oh my God.
See, but this is like not.
I don't mind telling you, Chris has said the same thing to me on numerous occasions.
We're at the duplex though. It's when he's badgering me into getting my third martini, which I don't want to do.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I give you exhibits A through Triple Z. No one's ever twisted Christopher DeRosa's arm to get a martini for any reason.
See, but that right there, it's like, she keeps like bullying people. And again, I'm saying the word bullying with like the 85 million grains of salt, but like, she keeps like what did the people of Boston do to her? Nothing. She just wrote a song. And again, she's writing a song about a guy from a different town. Do you know what I mean? And then she's making it she's doing this PR bullshit, but it's just PR bullshit. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if she could go to like, oh yeah, we went to this bar in Boston that was a famous Boston bar and this happened to us and blah, blah. That's a story.
Right.
Her being like, oh yeah, I just like wrote Boston because it's like better than saying like whatever the fuck the suburb he lives in. You know what I mean?
It just seems like a lot of foot and mouth. It just seems like a lot of stuff that if someone else delivered it, it would be edgy or controversial enough, but with her, it just doesn't sound, it just sounds like her delivery's not very good.
I almost feel
on
like
any
she's
occasion.
trying to be like Jennifer Lawrence in like 2007. You know what I mean? Like I'm different than other girls because I'm being authentic. And she was kind of our first like breath of fresh air until then she Jennifer Lawrence herself and everybody was like, all right, enough. But
yeah, like we don't care anymore.
Like I think that maybe that's what she's going for. And I still fall prey to it because I love anybody that's just kind of being chaotic on television. No, but I do agree. I think that there's something that is like, stand 10 toes down in it. If you're gonna say fuck you Boston, then be like, and fuck the Red Sox too, motherfucker.
Yeah, like exactly. You know, I love the fucking Phillies. Like blah blah blah. Like who's their like biggest rival? The Yankees. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna, you know.
That line between edgy and stupid is very, it is sort of an art form, and she just sounds like she hasn't had enough experience at it yet. Also, I would never fuck with Boston that way or Philly for that matter.
No,
right, those are bad places.
No,
no, Philly has perpetual 3 a.m. energy. Like, no.
Yes. No, in Boston, people will like pull up. Like, you can't fuck, like, that's no joke. Like, this is like, Boston people do not play. What I am hearing is like trying on every hat at the hat store and none of them fit her. Like, she's like, am I this other person? No, I'm not. Am I like me but edgy? No, I'm not. Am I, hold on, let me just like get a rivalry. Like, it's a lot, as much as it's like, oh, this is fun, it's a lot of like PR bullshit and none of it seems to be authentic to her. If she was like, I'm ageist, blah, 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 and like that became her entire brand and she was like, I am the queen of Gen Z, like that is a brand. Like her just like trying to be edgy at certain, like she keeps trying on all these hats of like, is this my identity? Is this my identity? Is this my, like, to me, it's just a lot of like misses in a row. And although I liked the Mean Girls movie and I liked her in it, in general, I feel like it didn't do as well as it like.
Well, no, it was supposed to be,
like a huge movie. I mean, nothing will ever rival the success of the original movie.
No, it was actually supposed to. I think they knew it was going to be a flop. It was supposed to be a home viewed, like Paramount Plus exclusive.
Really?
And then with COVID, they were like, what movies can we push out in the theaters? Because we need something. So then they made it like a movie experience, but it wasn't supposed to be big at all.
And they tricked people into going because all of the marketing for it, they didn't include that it was a musical.
Yeah.
So there were so many, like I knew personally
on purpose,
people
from what I recall,
on
right?
purpose
because that didn't test well.
Yeah.
So they were
all
like,
the
let's not tell
trailers,
anybody. Right.
no song to be seen. And so I know people personally who went and then the singing starts and they're like, what the hell?
They're like, what the hell is happening?
You know, Mean Girls is funny because it's so good. The movie, the original movie, it's so good. It's so perfect. It's so very of the exact moment when it was released, just like every episode of 30 Rock. And you go back and you look at it and there's shit in the original Mean Girls where you're like, oh, here we go, a little bit over the line there.
Yeah.
And when I saw the musical,
that's Tina Fey.
The what?
That's Tina Fey.
100%. That's the brand. You know, I mean, that's her style of
there are
writing.
misses. There are definitely a lot of misses with that. Yeah.
And the musical was, I felt too much of an effort to A, correct some of that stuff, and B, try to bring the story current when what I wished was just say that it took place in 2000 whatever and do that, but they didn't do that. I only saw the first half of the movie. I know I fell asleep, but I'm not saying it's because it was boring. I think it was late at night, but if I loved it, I would have stayed awake. And I remember feeling the same problems with the movie as I did with the musical. And I thought, by the way, that the Broadway musical to me was more entertaining than the musical movie, the recent one.
Agreed.
And that's
interesting.
And that's the end of my monologue about the three Mean Girls.
What else do we feel that, were we there, Dominic? What else do we need to say about Ms. Rapp, Ms. Reneé Rachel Rapp before?
Well, I do know that she won a Kids' Choice Award. I do see that.
For the movie or for her music?
Let's look it up. I don't know. She's just holding that blimp, which will forever be known as the Jennifer Lopez Award to me because it's like,
Yeah.
it's the greatest honor J-Lo has received awards wise. And so whenever anyone does like,
When it's, no,
a
there's been a
four-part
lot of
meme where
those.
it's just like Adele with a ton of Grammys and Gaga with a ton of Grammys, and then it's just J-Lo holding the orange blimp from the Nickelodeon Awards.
Well, you never know with the Kids' Choice Awards because those categories are like best on-screen kiss with the Kermit the Frog on space
by a blonde.
Yeah, no, like truly.
by a blonde.
By a blonde.
Oh, well, look at this. IMDb, we should be leading with IMDb because it's not going to change anyone's mind about anything. But in 2024, she won a GLAAD Award for Outstanding Music Artist
Well,
for the album Snow Angel.
egg on
Now.
our face.
The fact that the album is
egg on
called
your
Snow
free
Angel
face.
makes
You can
me
reverse this episode and listen to me say it's good album.
Well, Donny also famously comes to visit me and exclusively plays Vanessa Hudgens' Spotify radio. So,
Wow.
do we want to say, he did say it was good, but Reneé, I don't know if you want to claim that.
That's why I only said it once and I didn't fight for it because I knew this would come out.
Uh-huh.
The blimp that she won was also last year, and she won for favorite breakout artist, but she was also nominated for favorite villain for Mean Girls.
Okay.
I'm just thinking. I'm praying a little bit.
Are you? Do you need a moment to meditate?
Yeah, I'm just thinking because there's multiple ways to go here. This is like hard.
It's so funny. She looks so different in so many of these.
Yeah.
Like when she's a person who, when she smiles, she looks like a completely different human being. Like I'm looking at some like Blue Seal red carpet photos of her for Sex Lives, and then just her sitting with Tina Fey chatting in interviews in Impressed for Mean Girls. She's like a different human being.
Yeah.
Well, she also like loves this. She loves to do that like open mouthed teeth, but like mean face look. Like that's her go-to.
Again, that's like a JoJo Siwa.
Yeah.
I don't need to see
yeah.
your teeth at all if you want, but not all the time.
Did you see that JoJo Siwa admitted that, because she was a party girl now. She admitted that she doesn't like the taste of alcohol. So whenever she was pretending on all of her TikToks to like swig right from the bottle, she had like poured water or Coke.
Of course she did.
Like,
of course that's what she did.
Don't admit
That's
that.
fine.
Take that to the grave, baby girl.
No,
Yeah.
she can't.
Or
She can't shut the
just-
fuck up is her problem.
It is her
Yeah.
problem.
Jojo, are you listening? Come here. I also think that the taste of alcohol is disgusting. Do you want to know what? I'm also an alcoholic. So one thing has nothing to do with the
Past
other.
it. Just fight through it,
Nothing
baby.
to do with the other. I actually hate the taste of it. But did you stop drinking it? Where's the other half of the sentence?
Yeah. My God.
All right, we're at the arena. Christopher, in the words of the great Alan Cumming, the floor is yours.
The idea that I kept coming back to with her is an idea that I think it's not the like, oh my God, this is the craziest thing ever, but I think it's something that it actually will work for her. Much like Sex Lives of College Girls, she needs to just like be on something on television just to exist in the world. Right now, she's nowhere. And even if she's doing everything in the world, we don't care. No one, what did we have to, what could we name after those few things she did? She does not have the resume that she thinks she possesses, to quote New York Pollard herself. She doesn't like, she doesn't
Someone
know
lied
once.
to her several times. Is
Times,
that what
yeah.
you're saying? Okay.
She doesn't have the resume to like just never do TV again. And that's where her bread was getting buttered. She needs to get a co-starring role, like again, just like an ensemble role on a show just to be in the world, to be a star that is working.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I want her to do is write an album, and like almost every single one of those songs needs to have a feature of like a really good artist, or like some good ones, some up and comers, some people on her level. Like if she could get Billy on a song with her, that'd be amazing.
She can get Noah Khan, then Gen Z will go wild.
And then yes, and even like if we could get like an Ethel Cain with her on a song, and then we could get like a few more people that are, even some people that are like, oh, this is someone who like had an EP that was really good, and I'm gonna lift them up too.
Get
Is, like,
Boy
putting them
Genius on for the
so that we
lesbian
could-
crowd.
Sure,
Sorry, I'm
sure.
interrupting your
But like,
pitch.
no, but like again, like different tiers of things. Charlie did a really good one with her Charlie self-titled album that she had like Lizzo, Haim, Troye Sivan. Like she had like good people on like every song, and it was such a good album. If Reneé did that, and then she could kind of spread out into all of those different people's like Spotify's, or again Pandora, Vanessa Hudgens Pandora Radio, like you said, you know, not that Vanessa Hudgens needs to be on this album, but like she needs to like get her music in different algorithms by doing this album. Because if that's really what she wants to do, she needs to have really good music. And by collaborating with all these different people can like try on a bunch of different hats for herself in the music world and figure out what her lane is. Because she, like I said, like she doesn't know what her lane is. And now the lane that she kind of was gonna overtake, like that's gone now. Because like Sabrina, Charlie, Chappell, and Billy are like now humongous celebrities and they're way above her. And not to like pit women against each other, but like she should have been on that wave and been one of them. And she got left behind. So she now needs to like carve out her own niche in the music world. And I think doing this album is a good exercise for her to do that while still being in the zeitgeist somehow by being on a show. And that is my pitch. I'm horrified to hear what Dominic's circus pitch is going to be.
Here's the thing about Reneé Mary Jane Rapp. She has been given... She's been the lead in a Broadway. I'm assuming was nominated for a Tony for the role as well. Was she?
No, I think she was.
She wasn't eligible because she was a replacement.
Oh, didn't know that. Who was the original? Anyone famous?
Taylor Louderman. Yeah, which is why, I mean, Taylor Louderman is my Broadway baby. So when anyone stepped into the role, I wasn't going to love her no matter what. But then it was some 17-year-old butch girl. Forget about it.
Yes.
Jesus.
So she's been given a Broadway show. She's been given a hit television show that she walked away from. She's done an album which received, notice from the Kids' Choice Awards and the Glad Media Awards. Respect to both, but okay, so she's been given all these opportunities, but it seems like what she's best known for is not being very good at being a celebrity. And some people just aren't good at it. Like they can't do press well. They can't be relatable. They're just sort of awkward. So what I want to do is take that, exploit it, and put her in a project that I know what she needs are eyes and ears, because she's not, I mean, I am a pop culture commentator. I knew next to nothing about her until today. That's bad. And it has nothing to do with my being 100 years old or not, because I listen to the shittiest music ever. Whatever your children are listening to, I listened to it at the gym today. I promise you. I should know her music and I don't. And so because she's awkward and that's sort of what she's known for, I want to get real meta with that and give her a role where she gets to combine all of her talents and get a lot of attention. And I want her to be in the eventual Lifetime movie that documents the antics of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. And I want her to play Blake Lively. I want her to play Blake Lively.
How dare you? How dare you?
She will have to make, I don't think prosthetics will be necessary. This will be a hair and makeup job, but she can do it. She can actually do it. They are about 10 years apart in age. So now listen, to sweeten the pot, to make sure I'm serious about people watching this fucking movie. In the role of Justin Baldoni, James Franco in his comeback vehicle. I rest my case. I rest my case.
Oh, God.
Franco and Rapp in It Didn't End With Us, a Lifetime original movie about Blake Lively and Justin
Produced by Ryan Murphy. Oh my!
They wish it was produced by Ryan Murphy.
Now, see, here's the problem, because I can see Donnie's eyes glistening, and I know which one speaks to me. You go, Donnie, and then I'll say co-sign or not, because I have a feeling we're on two sides of the aisle.
Well, then tell me why you voted for Chris, then. You have the floor.
Okay, I voted for Chris because that is what she should do objectively. She should be partnering with musicians. She should be putting herself out there. She should be getting in other people's
But I would say the
Weekly.
opposite almost, Chelsea, to cut you off. I meant to apologize for it, but I didn't. To cut you off, I think how in the beginning of Nicki Minaj's career, all her best songs were when she was on other people's songs. So when she was on Usher's song, when she was on, all the hits. And I think that's what Reneé should be doing. Reneé should have found a way to bebop into Cowboy Carter. Reneé should have found a way to be a feature on a Taylor Swift album.
I don't think. Okay.
What?
Right.
She doesn't have enough followers?
She doesn't have heat. She doesn't have heat on her. No one cares. Who cares about
But I
Reneé?
feel like there's always one charity case on an album feature. You don't think?
You want her to be the charity case?
Who was Shabuzi in this world, as Yolanda Hadid would say before Cowboy Carter?
Correct. How dare you? Who was Shabuzi in this world? Okay, so Chelsea's voting for me. Donnie's voting for Dominic. Should Dominic and I each do a rebuttal of each other's, or how do we do this? Because if you two can't come to a decision, I think Dominic and I have to take the floor again and kind of argue our case again.
Well, can we combine these ideas into one mega?
You can do whatever you want.
They want to win, Chelsea. They want to win.
I know. I'm trying to be like, I hope both teams have fun.
It has happened. We've done ties. We've done combining. We've done it. But I always like to really push the boundary until you guys are like, no, we really don't agree.
Chris is bloodthirsty because he's behind in season 3. I'm just letting you know he's behind this year for the first time, and now he's out. He wants to kill me.
Okay.
He would actually suggest that I die, and so he would win.
I love it. Feels like home to me. Well, Donnie, why did you choose Dominic? Why'd you choose Dominic?
So I think the comparisons between how Reneé acts on a press tour and how Blake used to act on press tours with all these videos coming out. I think if Reneé continues this type of chaotic energy, right now it's just little things. I hate old people. I hate Boston. But in 10 years, when people pull all these clips at one time, will we be seeing my coworker's a monkey right here. So will we be seeing it all together when it's all together? Maybe we will. So I think Reneé as Blake is an inspired choice. But even more so than that, think of what Blake will be saying about this movie as it's being made. Think about what Reneé will be saying on the press tour for this movie. And then think about what me, as a full-blown faggot, can be receiving from pop culture from both of these women feeding me at the same time.
But think of the 17-year-olds on that press tour with poor James Franco out on the loose again, you know?
Yeah, true. Thank you.
Who's 17 in the movie? There's no 17-year-old in that film.
James Franco will find a 17-year-old, let me tell you.
He sure will. He sure will.
I am sure our insurance adjusters will make sure there are armed guards around James Franco at all times, even just to get the movie made.
Yeah.
Okay. Would this be a smash hit in every single way? And would I watch every single frame of it? Yes, I would. Would Reneé Rapp come out of that as a Lifetime movie actor and not a SNL performance level singer from that? Yes.
I don't think that her bringing famous people on her album to say, look at all the famous friends I have is going to get her a career in music either.
Besides, Demi Moore started on General Hospital in 1924, and she's about to win an Oscar for playing Jabba the Hutt in some Elephant Man movie or whatever it is. The Substance.
Again, I have to bring it back to Gen Z's Mumford & Sons, Noah Kahan, who Donnie did not know, but that man has been releasing the same 3 songs for 2 years now. Just bring it on new. Let's bring on Brandi Carlile. Let's bring on whoever else. And so that could be the same thing. And yes, will it land on Donnie's Vanessa Hudgens Spotify radio? Perhaps not. I think it comes down to this. And this is how obviously Donnie's not going to be swayed. So I have to look inward for my final vote. I think if we want Reneé Rapp to win, Chris's pitch is the one. If we want all of us as a society to win,
correct. Yeah.
Dominic is the winner. And I'm so sorry, Chris, because you are behind, I've heard, in this game. But I think that in the year 2025, we all do need a win. We need a win, and we need this Lifetime movie produced by Glee's guy.
Whoever the fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan Murphy, get on the horn and let's make it happen here.
I'm willing to swap Franco for Adam Driver if it will make any difference.
And a Lifetime movie. Yeah, sure.
Why not? It's gonna be this is gonna be unprecedented.
It will be it'll be unprecedented. Right. No, it is an incredible pitch. Dominic does deserve to win. Yes. I had to try to fight for my right, but yeah. And no, many a time it's like, well, we want to see that. So that's what we should be. Like, it's not always best for the person.
Objectively, yours was the better plan, but my God, I already want to see. And we've got to get the woman who's in queer media back to interview them and the press tour.
She follows me on Instagram now after this.
I'm sure she does. I'm sure she does.
She could play herself. All those reporters who encountered Blake Lively can play themselves in this movie.
Incredible. Dominic, incredible win. I mean, I screamed, how dare you multiple times whenever you said it. So like, if that didn't show you that I thought that it was incredible pitch, I don't know what will.
I don't know. That's becoming my go-to now. To resurrect people, I'm going to have them all play real life people.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I mean, it's we would all be tuning in. And not for nothing, she kind of needs a bone to be thrown to her. I'm not going to lie. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Walking through this episode, it's like, ooh, like you really.
I love your idea. And that's the idea that an actual press rep would tell her to
actually
do.
Say, yeah.
She's been given so many opportunities, and it's like,
and she's fucked them all up.
All these, I was like, wait, she has an album too? When the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
Wait, she left a television show, a hit one? Like, what are you doing?
Well, not for nothing. She's 19 and on Broadway. So she was like, oh, this is easy. And she's like, I made an album. You guys didn't like it enough? You know what I mean? It's like, guess what the business is, lady? It's fucking hard. Demi Moore, one of like the goddesses of our life, walked up there on the fucking Golden Globes and was like, this is the first award I've ever won in my entire life. And I finally don't feel like a piece of shit.
Not even she has an orange blimp at home. Not even she.
She probably does for like G.I. Jane.
Indecent Proposal, the very first X-rated Kids' Choice Awards.
Oh, God. Wow. A whirlwind is what this has been, for sure. Chelsea and Donny, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having us.
I hope you thought this was fun.
It was so fun.
Everyone
and you are both the cute ones. We want to settle that right now.
Thank you. We were going to make you two vote on that.
Yeah, we weren't going to log off until you two voted.
Yeah. You're both the cute ones. Tell everyone where they can find you and again, where they can find I Am the Cute One.
So you can listen to the show wherever you listen to your podcast. So I Am the Cute One podcast. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/I Am the Cute One. And on there, we have like unedited episodes, but we also, right now we're covering Desperate Housewives, but in the past we have covered Pretty Wild, The Comeback, Seventh Heaven.
How dare you say Pretty Wild? How dare you come on to my show and say Pretty Wild as if it wasn't. I didn't watch every frame of every episode of that God-forsaken show.
I had never watched it until Chelsea made me for the Patreon, and
incredible. Chelsea, we're like that. Listen, we're like this. We're like this. We're even dressed alike today.
I know.
Well, if you wear it every day, you too can match Chelsea.
I don't comment on people wearing the same thing every day.
One day I'm going to edit together a compilation piece of just the comments that Donny says as we log on to Zoom to record of like, 5 minutes late, but I guess you didn't brush your hair during that time.
Oh my God.
He once compared me to Nev Campbell at the end of Scream. We have a good time.
And I want to let you know, I watched Scream yesterday again for the first time in a long time, and I still don't think that's a mean thing to say to someone.
Well, it's not the worst thing you've said. You did one time I logged on, you said, you look like you were just found in a ditch.
Ooh.
But it's awful. One time we hung out in person and we stayed at a hotel together, and then she came out and I said, what are you going to wear tonight? She's like, this is what I'm wearing.
I'm dressed.
I'm like, I thought this was just your hotel clothes.
Did you not notice I paired earrings and a bold lip with my tall tee and bands, Donny?
Period.
So if you want to see Chelsea in those outfits, you can follow her on Instagram at @OhNoChels. And I'm on Instagram at @RealDonnywood.
Dominic, where can people find you?
On my website, domandterry.com. The socials are at Dominic Pupa or at Dom and Terry, or just go to the Fixing Famous People Instagram page. Christopher, where can our listeners find you on the World Wide Web?
You can find me at the DeRosa. You can find the show at Fixing Famous People, and you can find the Patreon at patreon.com/Fixing Famous People. I wish you all well, and as always, where's Shelley? Goodbye.
Average is not invited. Not if you're holding your company off-site in Las Vegas. We aren't on friendly terms with the bare minimum, and unenthusiastic is uninvited. Las Vegas's creative energy and world-class hospitality want to bring your company off-site to crazy new heights. That's why fear-based leadership is afraid of Vegas. And boring won't be there, but it will be watching the meeting recordings later. Plan for the extraordinary at vegasmeansbusiness.com.